When you think of the Netherlands, you probably imagine windmills, bicycles, and endless tulips. But beneath its postcard-perfect surface lies a world of quirks, curiosities, and downright bizarre facts that most tourists never discover. From floating homes to laws that might make you do a double take, this tiny country packs a punch of the weird and wonderful. So buckle up, because we're about to take you on a journey through the most unusual side of the Netherlands. And trust us, it's not all clogs and cheese. Valzenberg, often playfully dubbed the Dutch Mountain, holds the title of the Netherlands' highest natural point, at just 322 metres, 1,056 feet above sea level. While that may not sound impressive by alpine standards, it's a cherished peak in this largely flat country. Located near the tri-point where the Dutch, German and Belgian borders meet, Valzenberg has become a symbolic high point for hikers, families and geography lovers alike. It's also a reminder of just how low-lying and uniquely flat the Dutch landscape truly is. In cities like Utrecht, a curious transformation happens on select Sundays. Streets that usually bustle with cars become completely car-free. These special days, known as car-free Sundays, turn busy roads into peaceful havens for pedestrians, cyclists, street performers and markets. The initiative not only promotes eco-friendly transportation but also encourages people to reimagine how urban spaces can be used. It's a playful yet profound shift that reflects the Dutch commitment to sustainability, public health and community life. The Netherlands isn't just famous for tulips and canals, it also revolutionized the global economy. In 1602, the Amsterdam Stock Exchange was established, making it the world's oldest official stock exchange. Backed by the Dutch East India Company, it introduced many concepts we now take for granted in modern trading: stocks, corporate bonds, and investment speculation. It marked the birth of global capitalism, and its impact still shapes financial markets today. Not bad for a country about the size of Maryland. Dutch students don't just throw a party when they graduate, they announce it to the entire neighbourhood. Families proudly hang the national flag outside their home, often with the student school bag slung over the top. This colourful tradition signals that someone inside has successfully completed their final exams. It's a charming way to blend national pride with personal achievement, and passers-by can instantly recognise who's celebrating a major academic milestone. In 2001, the Netherlands made history by becoming the first country in the world to legalise same-sex marriage. It wasn't just a political statement. It was a cultural milestone that reflected the Dutch values of equality, tolerance and progressive thinking. Since then, thousands of LGBTQ+ couples have tied the knot, and the country has remained at the forefront of human rights advocacy. Pride events in cities like Amsterdam are now world-renowned, both for their vibrancy and the deep social change they represent. Tucked away in a 17th-century canal house in Amsterdam is one of the most remarkable churches in Europe, Onze Lieve Heer op Zolder, or Our Lord in the Attic. Built during a time when Catholicism was suppressed in the predominantly Protestant Netherlands, this hidden church was ingeniously constructed within the attic of a private residence. Today, it's a stunning museum that preserves the quiet resilience of faith and the lengths people once went to in order to worship in peace. Rotterdam is known for its bold architecture and innovation, but few expect to find a floating prison among its urban marvels. De Koopel was a repurposed prison ship designed to tackle overcrowding in Dutch jails. Moored in the city's harbour, it served as a temporary home for inmates. Offering an unconventional but effective solution, although controversial, the floating prison remains a fascinating example of Dutch resourcefulness in managing modern urban challenges. One of Amsterdam's quirkiest attractions is its narrowest house, which measures only about 2 metres, 6.5 feet, wide. From the front it looks almost like a dollhouse, and its door is literally a window. These tiny homes were often built this way to avoid high property taxes, which were once calculated based on a building's street frontage. The result is a series of tall, skinny buildings that now define the city's iconic architectural style, both charming and practical. The Dutch are famously direct, and their national motto might as well be Doe maar normaal, which translates to just act normal. This phrase perfectly captures their no-nonsense attitude and aversion to showing off or being overly dramatic. While it might seem blunt to outsiders, this cultural trait promotes honesty, efficiency, and emotional resilience. In the Netherlands, being straightforward isn't rude, it's respectful. You might be surprised to learn that the Dutch have an intense love affair with licorice, known locally as drop. Consuming over £32 million of it each year, they enjoy it in every imaginable form. Salty, sweet, chewy, hard, and even infused with mint or ammonium chloride. For newcomers, the taste can be shockingly strong, but for locals, it's a nostalgic flavour tied to childhood and national identity. Supermarkets devote entire aisles to the stuff, proving it's not just a snack, it's a cultural obsession. For over 2 decades, King Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands led a surprising double life. While ruling a nation by day, he quietly co-piloted KLM commercial flights under the alias Captain WA. Flying mostly short-haul European routes, he slipped into cockpits without attracting attention. For him, it was a way to indulge his passion for aviation and stay grounded. Literally, the revelation in 2017 astonished the public and added a touch of humble mystery to the royal image, showcasing the king's down-to-earth spirit and love of flying. Just north of Amsterdam lies a ghostly underwater relic of the past, the flooded village of Kadoelen. Submerged under a lake, its most haunting feature is the presence of graves that now rest beneath the water's surface. The area was flooded for land reclamation and water control, leaving behind eerie reminders of the lives once lived there. While it's not a typical tourist attraction, the site captures the eternal Dutch dance with water and the sacrifices made to tame their landscape. For the daring and mud-loving adventurers, the Netherlands offers a one-of-a-kind hiking experience known as Wadlopen. This activity allows thrill-seekers to walk across the seabed of the Wadden Sea during low tide, trekking through slippery mud, shell-strewn flats, and occasionally knee- or waist-deep waters. It's a physically demanding journey that can only be done with certified guides, as tides return swiftly. Equal parts survival challenge and natural wonder, Wadlopen is a rare way to literally walk between islands on the ocean floor. During World War II, the Philips factory in Eindhoven became the target of German bombers. To protect the facility, the Dutch employed a clever form of wartime camouflage. They painted fake streets and buildings on the factory rooftops to create the illusion of a residential neighbourhood. From the air, the deception was convincing, often tricking enemy pilots into missing their mark. This brilliant use of optical illusions saved lives and vital infrastructure, showcasing Dutch ingenuity in the face of war. In 2017, the small town of Gemert made headlines by building something that seemed straight out of science fiction, a fully functional 3D printed concrete bicycle bridge. Using cutting-edge technology, the bridge was printed layer by layer and assembled with precision, proving that sustainable infrastructure could also be innovative and futuristic. Strong enough to support cyclists and durable in all weather, it's now a symbol of how the Dutch blend tradition with technological progress, even when it comes to something as classic as a bridge. In Amsterdam's Westerkerk lies a peculiar and poignant grave marker, the resting place of a man who lost his entire fortune during the infamous tulip mania of the 17th century. At the height of the craze, tulip bulbs sold for more than the cost of a house, and one man gambled everything on a single rare bloom. When the market crashed, so did his life. The tombstone serves as a quiet warning from history about the dangers of speculative bubbles and the enduring beauty of a flower. Amsterdam's canals are more than just scenic routes. They're home to over 2,500 houseboats, many of which have evolved into luxurious, fully sustainable floating homes. Some boast rooftop gardens, solar panels and modern interiors while retaining their old-world charm. Once a cheap solution to the city's housing shortage, canal living has become a lifestyle of choice for artists, entrepreneurs and romantics alike. It's a testament to how the Dutch reimagine space, blending water, architecture and creativity. Few people realise that the iconic compact disc, or CD, owes its origins to a Dutch company. In 1979, Philips, based in Eindhoven, co-invented the CD in collaboration with Sony, forever changing how the world listens to music. The invention revolutionized sound quality, durability, and portability, ushering in the digital audio age. While CDs are now nostalgic relics for some, the Dutch contribution to music technology continues to echo through every playlist, album, and audio file we enjoy today. Despite its modest size, the Netherlands is an agricultural powerhouse, ranking as the world's second-largest exporter of food after the United States. This staggering feat is made possible through high-tech greenhouses, efficient farming techniques, and a relentless commitment to sustainability. From tomatoes and tulips to cheese and pork, Dutch exports feed millions around the globe. It's a jaw-dropping reminder that size doesn't always dictate strength, especially when innovation is part of the equation. In response to a series of man-made earthquakes caused by natural gas extraction in Groningen, the Dutch government made a bold decision to phase out all gas drilling in the region. The quakes damaged homes and sparked public outcry, prompting a massive national shift toward alternative energy sources. Today, the Netherlands is investing heavily in geothermal power, wind farms, and hydrogen fuel, transforming an energy crisis into an opportunity for green innovation. It's a country determined not just to adapt, but to lead. In one of the most imaginative efforts of World War II, the Dutch resistance built a fake version of Paris, complete with a replica Eiffel Tower, to mislead German bombers. The decoy was constructed using rudimentary materials and strategic lighting, creating the illusion of the French capital from the sky. Though largely forgotten today, this incredible ruse showcased the Dutch spirit of resistance and ingenuity. While it's hard to imagine fooling anyone with a cardboard tower today, at the time, such deception could mean the difference between life and death. Amsterdam is often called the cycling capital of the world, and for good reason. It has more bikes than people. Nowhere is that more apparent than at Central Station, where a massive, multi-story bicycle parking garage stores over 10,000 bikes. It's a sea of handlebars and wheels, sometimes resembling a chaotic steel jungle. Managing bike traffic here is a task in itself, with the occasional bike traffic jam during rush hour. This surreal scene is peak Netherlands, where cycling is not just transport, but culture. Not far from the Dutch border lies Duel, a ghost village in Belgium near Antwerp that's deeply connected to Dutch history and eerily fascinating in its current form. Nearly abandoned due to the expansion of a nearby port, the town is now filled with haunting street art, crumbling homes, and total silence. Though not technically in the Netherlands, it draws curious Dutch and international visitors alike. It's a strange place where industrial ambition meets human displacement, captured in spray paint and empty windows. The Netherlands may be known for windmills and cheese, but it's also reaching for the stars, literally. SRON, the Netherlands Institute for Space Research, is a cutting-edge facility that has contributed crucial instruments to missions like the James Webb Space Telescope. Dutch scientists specialize in detecting faint cosmic signals and infrared light, giving them a quiet yet powerful role in unraveling the universe's mysteries. It's a reminder that this small country has a big footprint, even in space. If you're driving along the N302 highway and happen to maintain the exact speed limit, something magical happens. The road sings. Specially grooved asphalt plays the Dutch national anthem through vibrations felt and heard inside the car. This unusual feature was designed to encourage safe driving in a fun and patriotic way. It's not only entertaining, but a perfect example of how the Dutch use creativity to solve everyday problems and make even a highway unforgettable. Friesland, a northern Dutch province, marches to the beat of its own drum. The people here speak Frisian, a recognized language distinct from Dutch, with their own flag, anthem, and proud cultural identity. Historically, the region resisted domination by feudal lords under the movement known as Frisian Freedom, where local leaders ruled themselves. Even today, the province fiercely protects its traditions and autonomy. A visit to Friesland feels like stepping into a semi-independent pocket of Dutch history and resilience. In the heart of Amsterdam sits a museum unlike any other, the Kattenkabinet, or Cat Cabinet. Created by a wealthy banker in memory of his beloved feline, the museum is devoted entirely to cats in art. Paintings, sculptures, vintage posters, and odd trinkets celebrate cats as muses, companions, and icons. Quirky and charming, the museum offers an affectionate look at how deeply cats have influenced culture and how far a cat lover will go to immortalize their whiskered friend. Traditional Dutch wooden shoes, or klompen, are a symbol known the world over, but the craft of making them is quickly vanishing. Only about 10 artisans in the Netherlands still handcraft these shoes the old-fashioned way, using age-old techniques passed down through generations. While most klompen today are mass-produced for tourists, the authentic pairs are prized for their durability and connection to rural heritage. Watching them being made is like seeing a living piece of folklore being carved into wood. In 1795, the Netherlands ceased to exist as an independent republic and became the Batavian Republic, a French puppet state set up under Napoleon's influence. Though it lasted only until 1806, this short-lived experiment dramatically reshaped Dutch governance, law, and national identity. It marked the start of centralized power and ended centuries of provincial autonomy. Despite its brief existence, the Batavian Republic left a lasting political and cultural imprint, showing how external forces have periodically reshaped the Dutch nation. The Maastricht Natural History Museum houses one of the Netherlands' most unexpected treasures: real fossils of the Mosasaurus, a prehistoric marine reptile that once dominated the seas. These ancient remains were unearthed from limestone quarries near the city, and they give the museum a paleontological prestige that few associate with the lowlands. Seeing the massive jawbones and teeth of this sea monster in a quiet Dutch town feels like stumbling onto a forgotten chapter of Earth's story, one written in stone and silence. Tucked away in a quiet corner of Amsterdam is one of the city's trippiest secrets: Electric Ladyland, the world's only museum dedicated entirely to fluorescent art. This psychedelic playground glows under blacklight, with installations and minerals that shimmer in vivid neon colors. Visitors are encouraged to interact with the exhibits, creating a surreal, immersive experience. It's part art gallery, part science lab, and part cosmic dreamscape, all reflecting Amsterdam's love of the avant-garde. Electric Ladyland isn't just a museum, it's a mind-expanding detour into a hidden spectrum of light. Hidden in plain sight, the beaches and sidewalks of Zuid-Holland contain terrazzo tiles laced with a strange ingredient: low-level radioactive thorium. These tiles were made using waste from old phosphate factories, which unknowingly included slightly radioactive material. While the radiation is minimal and not considered dangerous, it's an unsettling and little-known fact that parts of this sunny region quite literally glow with a nuclear past. Today, it serves as a quirky, yet cautionary tale of industrial byproducts and unintentional legacies beneath our feet. One of the most infamous art heists in history, the 1990 robbery of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, has a surprising Dutch connection. Dutch thieves, suspected to be part of an international network, made off with masterpieces including Rembrandt's only known seascape. The stolen works, valued in the hundreds of millions, remain missing to this day. The caper has become a mystery that haunts the art world and has cast a shadow over Dutch involvement in the global black market for stolen art. Coffee culture in the Netherlands comes with its own peculiar twist. Instead of your typical cappuccino or latte, the Dutch often order a koffie verkeerd, which translates literally to wrong coffee. But there's nothing wrong about it, just an espresso with more milk than usual, creating a creamy, mellow drink. It's a perfect example of Dutch modesty and humour in naming conventions. Simple, comforting, and just a bit quirky, koffie verkeerd is the Netherlands in a cup. Beneath Utrecht's iconic Dom Tower lies a forgotten labyrinth of medieval tunnels. These hidden passages once served as secret trade routes, allowing merchants to move goods and money discreetly beneath the bustling city. Over time, many tunnels were sealed or forgotten, but recent archaeological work has rediscovered parts of this underground world. Today, guided tours offer a glimpse into a subterranean Utrecht few have seen, a city beneath the city, built in darkness but rich in history. In the world of meat alternatives, one name stands out: De Vegetarische Slager, or the vegetarian butcher. Founded in the Netherlands, this trailblazing company helped redefine what plant-based meat could taste and feel like. Their fake meats, crafted to mimic everything from tuna to chicken, are now sold worldwide, from Dutch supermarkets to Burger King menus. Their philosophy blends culinary tradition with futuristic innovation, all while promoting sustainability. It's not just about replacing meat, it's about reinventing it. In the northeast of the Netherlands lies Bourtange, a tiny village shaped like a perfect five-pointed star. Originally built in the 16th century to fend off Spanish forces, the village's star fort design served both military and aesthetic purposes, with moats and walls laid out in geometric harmony. Today, Bourtange looks like a medieval fantasy, preserved with such care that it feels frozen in time. Walking its paths is like stepping into a Renaissance map, where strategy met symmetry. You might not expect tropical islands to fall under Dutch governance, but the Caribbean territories of Bonaire, Saba, and Sint Eustatius are officially municipalities of the Netherlands. Often dubbed the Dutch Hawaii, these volcanic islands boast coral reefs, rainforests, and scuba diving hotspots. Though thousands of kilometers away from Amsterdam, they use the euro, fly the Dutch flag, and follow Dutch law. It's a unique fusion of Caribbean flair and Dutch bureaucracy. Palm trees and stroopwafels on the same political map. Buying a home in Amsterdam can come with a quirky caveat: erfpacht, or ground lease. In this system, you may own the house, but not the land beneath it, which requires an annual lease payment to the city. Originally created to prevent land monopolies, it now complicates property ownership with layers of bureaucracy. For some, it's a minor detail. For others, a financial puzzle that stretches across generations. It's an example of how old legal structures still shape modern life in the Netherlands. With their flowing manes, glossy black coats, and powerful stature, Frisian horses, or Friese-paarden, are living Dutch legends. Bred in the northern province of Friesland, these horses were once used in battle and now often pull royal carriages and perform in dressage competitions. They're known for their elegance and strength, often appearing in films and historical reenactments. Revered both for their beauty and versatility, Frisian horses are a proud symbol of Dutch heritage, and perhaps the most majestic animals in the Low Countries. In the town of Alkmaar, famous for its historic cheese market, a bitter memory is literally etched into the walls. During the 16th century, locals protested a harsh cheese tax by refusing to pay, leading to civil unrest and brutal crackdowns. In response, a plaque was installed on the Waag building, a curse inscribed against those who defy authority and disrupt trade. Today, tourists flock to the market for cheese and charm, often unaware of the angry history lingering just above their heads in stone. Across The Hague, abandoned WR bunkers have been given new life, not as relics of war, but as rebellious art installations. Once designed to protect against Nazi invasion, many of these concrete shelters now burst with graffiti, stencils, and colourful murals created by local street artists. The transformation turns grim military architecture into unexpected galleries of urban expression. It's a stark yet inspiring reminder of how spaces once defined by fear can evolve into places of creativity and freedom. In Rotterdam's harbour, you'll find a futuristic oddity bobbing gently in the water, a fully operational floating farm. This pontoon-based dairy facility houses real cows that graze on an artificial platform while producing fresh milk for the city. Solar panels power the operation, and rainwater is harvested for use. Designed to bring food production closer to urban populations and adapt to rising sea levels, this floating barn blends sustainability, tech, and agriculture in the most surreal way possible. Near the edge of Amsterdam, the Afrika Haven industrial port offers a scene straight out of a dystopian film. Littered with rusting cargo containers, half-sunken ships, and sprawling concrete, the area has become a surreal landscape, equal parts ghost town and industrial wasteland. Though still in limited use, parts of the port have been reclaimed by nature and urban explorers. Its haunting aesthetic draws photographers, filmmakers, and those fascinated by the eerie beauty of abandoned spaces in transition. The term polder model may sound obscure, but it represents a powerful Dutch export, not a product but a political idea. It refers to the Dutch tradition of reaching consensus through negotiation, compromise, and shared responsibility, just as polder land must be maintained collectively. After apartheid, South African leaders studied this model to foster inclusive dialogue during their democratic transition. Born from necessity in managing water, the polder model became a blueprint for peacemaking in divided societies. Once a raging inland sea, the Zuiderzee was notorious for deadly storms and devastating floods that wiped out entire villages. In the 20th century, it was tamed by one of the largest engineering feats in Dutch history, the Afsluitdijk Dam. What was once a killer sea is now the IJsselmeer, a peaceful freshwater lake. Its transformation reflects the Dutch mastery of water management, turning a threat into a resource, and rewriting geography itself through sheer willpower and ingenuity. Tucked away in The Hague is a secret society-type church known as the Rooms-Katholieke Kerk, built during a time when Catholics were forced to worship in hiding under Protestant rule. Disguised behind unassuming facades, these clandestine churches flourished in the shadows, preserving faith under suppression. The Hague's hidden church remains a hauntingly beautiful symbol of resilience, where the plain exterior belies a rich interior of gilded altars and devout history, proof that belief often survives in secret. In the 1630s, during the infamous tulip mania, the Dutch love for flowers turned into a financial frenzy. As prices for rare bulbs skyrocketed, some speculators made fortunes, while others went bankrupt. When the bubble burst, many were jailed for fraud or for defaulting on tulip contracts. Tulip jail may sound like satire, but it's a very real reminder that the world's first economic crash came not from gold or oil, but from the fleeting beauty of a flower. While Vincent van Gogh is buried in the serene French town of Auvers-sur-Oise, his brother, Theo, his greatest supporter, is buried alone in Utrecht. Yet the two graves are symbolically reunited through a haunting ivy-covered sculpture in Theo's resting place. The twisting greenery forms a tangled bond between the two brothers, reflecting their emotional connection and shared legacy. Though physically apart, the ivy tells a quiet story of love, tragedy, and the invisible thread that links kindred souls across countries and lifetimes. In the rewilded wetlands of Oostvaardersplassen, nature has been left to its own devices. Once reclaimed land, it's now home to wild Conic horses and Hek cattle, free roaming across vast fields like relics from the Ice Age. The reserve offers a rare glimpse into what Europe might have looked like thousands of years ago, untamed, open, and buzzing with life. It's part safari, part ecological experiment, and a surreal way to witness prehistoric-style wilderness in one of the world's most densely populated countries. Beneath the charming streets of Utrecht lie wharf cellars, arched storage rooms built at canal level. But in medieval times, many of these weren't just used for goods. They were repurposed as public latrines, where waste was dumped straight into the water. The canals, now postcard-worthy, once functioned as open sewers, flowing with more than just trade. This grim bit of history is often overlooked by modern visitors, sipping wine along the same waterfronts, unaware that the city's beauty is quite literally built on centuries of, well, flushed secrets. Just outside Arnhem, a Cold War relic waits quietly underground. A fully preserved 1960s nuclear bunker, now turned into a museum. Built to shield officials from atomic fallout during the height of geopolitical tensions, the bunker is a maze of concrete corridors, sealed doors, and eerily dated equipment. Today, visitors can tour the facility and experience the chilling atmosphere of a world perpetually on the brink. With its ticking Geiger counters and frozen-in-time command rooms, it offers a sobering look at how close the Cold War crept to everyday life. Inside the Grote Kerk in Haarlem, one of the Netherlands' grandest Gothic cathedrals, a mysterious relic draws curious eyes. A 14th-century miracle host, said to have bled when stabbed during a Eucharistic ritual, the story quickly gained fame, drawing medieval pilgrims from across Europe. Though skeptics abound, the legend remains woven into the church's identity, with the supposed miracle commemorated in stained glass and sculpture. Whether divine or dramatic folklore, the tale of the bleeding host adds a supernatural layer to Haarlem's religious history. Often called the Dutch Hollywood, the town of Hilversum punches well above its weight in global media. It's the headquarters for national broadcasters and home to production studios that birthed TV formats like Big Brother and The Voice, concepts later sold and adapted around the world. With cutting-edge technology and a history of storytelling, Hilversum is where the Dutch influence pop culture not through movies, but by reshaping how the world watches television. It's glitzy, low-key, and culturally potent all at once. Scattered across Dutch cities are haunting memorials in the form of white-painted bicycles, or ghost bikes, placed at locations where cyclists were killed in traffic accidents. These somber tributes serve as reminders of the vulnerability of cyclists, even in one of the most bike-friendly countries on Earth. Each bike, usually chained to a post or sign, is left untouched as a silent plea for road safety. They are both memorial and protest, ghostly sculptures urging drivers to slow down and remember. In Amsterdam, a deconsecrated chapel now houses a radically modern form of worship, the vegan church. Here, instead of religious services, people gather for plant-based food festivals, ethical lifestyle talks, and communal celebrations of sustainability. It's a playful reimagining of sacred space, turning spiritual architecture into a sanctuary for progressive values and culinary innovation. While some see it as controversial, others embrace it as a symbol of changing belief systems, where compassion for animals replaces traditional dogma. In a bizarre twist of history, the US government once opened a Cold War surveillance file on Sinterklaas, the Dutch version of Santa Claus. When he made a high-profile visit to New York City in 1952, the authorities, gripped by post-war paranoia, tracked the event to assess any potential ideological subtext. While it may sound absurd today, the fact that a jolly gift giver landed on the FBI's radar reflects the intensity of mid-century suspicion and adds a surreal chapter to Sinterklaas's long globe-trotting story. When Amsterdam's sleek Rokin metro station was built, engineers unearthed thousands of ancient artifacts, including tools, coins, and a 4,000-year-old wooden canoe. Instead of burying the past, the city turned the station into a subterranean museum. Glass displays embedded in the walls showcase the layers of history that once lay beneath the Amstel River. Every morning commute now doubles as a journey through time, blending public transport with archaeological wonder in a uniquely Dutch collision of old and new. In the northeastern province of Drenthe, the landscape is dotted with massive stone tombs known as hunebedden, megalithic burial chambers built over 5,000 years ago by Neolithic farmers. These dolmens, made from enormous boulders, are older than Stonehenge and remarkably well preserved. Though their exact spiritual significance is unknown, they offer a glimpse into prehistoric life, rituals, and engineering. Wandering among them feels like touching the fingertips of a civilization long vanished but not forgotten. During World War II, a quiet farm near Nieuwedal became a covert resistance outpost known as Boerderij Moskowa. Disguised as an ordinary rural estate, it secretly trained Dutch freedom fighters in sabotage, espionage, and communication. Operatives learned how to blow up bridges, forge documents, and transmit secret messages, all under the noses of German occupiers. After the war, its story became legend, and today the site stands as a tribute to bravery and silent rebellion in the heart of the Dutch countryside. The legend of the Flying Dutchman is one of maritime history's most haunting tales. According to lore, the ghost ship is doomed to sail the oceans forever, unable to make port. The story originated among Dutch sailors in the 17th century and has since become a staple of nautical myth. Its eerie reputation inspired Richard Wagner's famous opera Der Vliegende Hollander and made a spectral appearance in Pirates of the Caribbean. Though no ship has ever been found, sightings and whispers persist, proof that the phantom of the Flying Dutchman still sails in the imagination. The city of Eindhoven, once a sleepy industrial town, has transformed into Europe's high-tech hub, earning the nickname Dutch Silicon Valley. Its Brainport region is home to thousands of startups, research labs, and multinationals like Philips and ASML. With the highest patent density in the world, Brainport thrives on innovation, from nanotech to AI to photonics. What sets it apart is a culture of collaboration between business, government, and academia. In the Netherlands, genius isn't just encouraged, it's meticulously engineered. In Utrecht, the birthplace of illustrator Dick Bruna, the beloved children's character Miffy, Nuntje in Dutch, is more than a rabbit. She's a local icon. The city celebrates her with sculptures, street art, and an entire museum dedicated to her minimalistic charm. Bruna's creation, with her tiny X-mouth and curious eyes, captured hearts worldwide with her quiet wholesomeness. Walking through Utrecht, visitors are greeted by playful, Miffy traffic lights and statues, proving that sometimes the simplest designs leave the biggest footprints. The Peace Palace in The Hague is often called the spiritual heart of international law, but its library holds its own kind of magic. Inside, a spiral staircase winds dramatically upward, its wrought iron curves resembling something from Hogwarts. The library houses thousands of rare legal texts from around the world, and its quiet grandeur makes it a surreal mix of fantasy and jurisprudence. While the building represents diplomacy and justice, this architectural gem adds a touch of storybook wonder to serious matters. In February 1941, the citizens of Amsterdam staged an unprecedented act of courage. Known as the February Strike, workers walked off their jobs to protest the Nazi regime's deportation of Jewish citizens. It was the only mass protest in Nazi-occupied Europe against the persecution of Jews during the war. Trams stopped, factories fell silent, and for 2 days, unity defied tyranny. Though the strike was brutally suppressed, it remains a profound symbol of resistance, etched into the Netherlands' collective memory and commemorated each year. Despite its elegant name, Hotel de Goudfazant in Amsterdam hides a colourful past. Before becoming a trendy industrial-style restaurant and event space, it was a brothel with a murky reputation, rumoured to have hosted Agatha Christie during one of her European tours. The mystery writer's supposed visit only adds to the lore, making the building a hotspot for urban legends and ghost stories. Whether or not Christie truly stayed there, the hotel's atmosphere is tinged with noir, equal parts vintage glamour and shadowy intrigue. In 1977, a UFO sighting in the rural polder town of Roswinkel sparked national headlines. Witnesses described glowing lights and strange formations in the sky. The frenzy gripped Dutch media, with theories ranging from alien visitors to Cold War surveillance. Eventually, it was revealed to be a secret military exercise, but the excitement left a lasting cultural mark. The event became one of the most talked-about UFO sightings in Dutch history, proof that even in a rational country, the skies sometimes invite mystery. Even space carries the Dutch name. On Mars, craters named Nederland and Amsterdam mark the surface of the Red Planet, honouring Dutch contributions to planetary science. These names reflect both scientific involvement and the tradition of naming Martian features after Earth cities. It's a poetic gesture. Imagine the canals of Amsterdam now immortalised in a crater millions of kilometres away. The Netherlands, ever practical and quietly proud, has left its mark not only on Earth's landscapes, but on those of distant worlds. In Winsum, a small town in the province of Friesland, metal detectors uncovered a 6th century gold hoard that stunned archaeologists. The cache included ornate jewellery, coins, and decorative pieces believed to belong to a powerful chieftain or early king. Displayed at the Fries Museum, the treasure offers rare insight into the wealth, artistry, and tribal politics of the early medieval era. Known as Frisian gold, the find underscores how the Netherlands was once a crossroad of power long before it became a modern nation. In the picturesque city of Leiden, behind seemingly ordinary doors, you'll find the Hofjes, hidden courtyards that once housed poor widows and elderly women. These almshouse gardens date back to the 13th century and are marvels of quiet design, small homes arranged around lush green spaces, often with fountains or sculptures. Many are still in use, providing affordable housing in serene communal settings. Visitors can peek into a few during tours, discovering that behind Leiden's brick walls lie secret worlds of peace and generosity. In the Dankbaarheid Cemetery near Amsterdam, a chilling discovery was made. Mummified bodies dating back to the 17th century, perfectly preserved in the surrounding peat-rich soil. The natural acidity and low oxygen levels created ideal conditions for mummification, leaving skin, hair, and even clothing eerily intact. Known as the canal mummies, these corpses provide a haunting glimpse into centuries past. Looking more like wax figures than skeletal remains, they stand as a macabre reminder of how Dutch soil, so good for flowers and farming, can also cradle the dead in uncanny silence. One of the strangest contributions to horror cinema hails from the Netherlands, The Lift, De Lift, 1983, a cult classic that tells the story of a high-tech elevator possessed by a murderous artificial intelligence. While the premise may sound absurd, the film is deeply atmospheric, blending corporate paranoia, eerie silence, and claustrophobic dread. Its unsettling tone and bizarre premise made it a local hit and earned it international attention. In the land of calm canals and rational design, this Dutch horror gem is delightfully unexpected. Deep in the forests of Radio Kootwijk stands an architectural oddity, a monumental Art Deco radio station built in the 1920 SS. Designed to beam radio signals from the Netherlands to its colonies in the Dutch East Indies, the building's cathedral-like structure gives it an almost sacred aura. Isolated, silent, and once humming with imperial ambition, it now stands as a cultural landmark, sometimes used for performances and exhibitions. It's a haunting relic of the wireless age and a physical echo of long-distance power. During WRY, Dutch resistance fighters didn't just hide Allied pilots, they built an entire fake French village to keep them safe. Complete with papier-mâché cows, wooden houses, and faux signage, the decoy was constructed deep in the countryside to fool patrolling Nazis. It was so convincing that some pilots believed they'd made it to occupied France. This theatrical deception is one of the war's strangest feats of courage and creativity, a real-life stage set used not for entertainment but for survival. In Amsterdam, spiritual transformation takes a literal form in Paradiso, a former church turned legendary music venue. Once echoing with sermons, its stained glass windows and altar now vibrate with electric guitars and synths. Since its founding in the late 1960s, it has hosted the likes of Prince, the Rolling Stones, Nirvana, and David Bowie. Known as the Dance Temple, Paradiso is a sacred space for music lovers, where the divine is found not in silence, but in sound. The sea has claimed many places, but perhaps none as haunting as Reimerswaal, the so-called Dutch Atlantis. This once thriving Zeeland town sank beneath the waters of the Oosterschelde estuary in the 16th century after repeated flooding and storms. All that remains are scattered ruins and submerged foundations, occasionally visible at low tide. Once bustling with trade, Reimerswaal is now a ghost town beneath the wave, a sunken reminder of how even stone cities can vanish when the water rises. Not far from the tidy streets of Haarlem lurks a different kind of legend. Motor Club Haarlem, one of Europe's oldest and most notorious outlaw biker gangs. Formed in the post-war years, the club developed a reputation for defiance, brotherhood, and brushes with the law. Though officially disbanded in recent years, their legacy remains part of local law. In a country known for order and politeness, their rough presence always stood out. Proof that rebellion rumbles beneath even the calmest facades. In the hills of Limburg, ancient secrets lie buried beneath grassy mounds known as grafheuvels, or giants' graves. These Neolithic burial mounds, dating back to around 3000 BCE, are some of the oldest man-made structures in the Netherlands. Once used for elite burials, they offer rare archaeological insights into prehistoric Dutch society. While they may appear unassuming to passers-by, these silent hillocks are ancient tombs holding millennia of mystery beneath their soil. The Verding couple, two remarkably well-preserved bog bodies, were discovered in a peat field near Drenthe and now reside at the Drents Museum. These 2,000-year-old Iron Age men, once believed to be lovers or ritual sacrifices, have sparked endless debate among historians and scientists. Their expressions, stomach contents, and cause of death have all been studied in forensic detail. Frozen in time by the bog, they are chilling ambassadors from a long-lost world of tribal rites and ancient violence. Inside the Frans Hals Museum in Haarlem, you'll find a stunning relic of domestic artistry, the Agu Legits dollhouse. This 19th-century miniature mansion, meticulously crafted with furniture, wallpaper and even tiny chandeliers, is considered a supermodel of dollhouses. Far from a child's toy, it was an adult passion project, offering a glimpse into upper-class life and aesthetics of the time. It's a marvel of detail and devotion, like a time capsule you can peer into, scaled down to the size of a shoebox.